The hallways of Westlake High School buzzed with the usual Monday morning chaos. Locker doors slammed, sneakers squeaked against the polished floor, and teenagers called out to each other over the din. But among the familiar faces, a new student made her way through the crowd, one careful step at a time. Lily had been blind since birth. At 16, she had grown used to the challenges that came with navigating a world she couldn't see. Her white cane tapped rhythmically against the floor as she counted steps in her head, a habit that helped her map new spaces in her mind. 37, 38, 39, she whispered under her breath, then turned right at the water fountain. The office secretary had walked her through the route to her first class earlier that morning, but doing it alone felt different. The sounds were overwhelming. Hundreds of conversations, laughter, music from someone's phone, and the occasional shout that made her jump. Each noise bounced off the walls and hit her ears from unpredictable angles, making it hard to orient herself. "Hey, watch it." A deep voice cut through the noise as someone bumped into her shoulder, knocking her slightly off balance. "Sorry," Lily said automatically, though she wasn't the one who should be apologizing. She tightened her grip on her cane and continued forward. Her free hand stretched out slightly to avoid more collisions. This was her third high school in 4 years. Her mom's job kept them moving across the country, and each new school meant learning another building layout, meeting new teachers who didn't always understand how to adapt their lessons, and facing the stares and whispers that inevitably followed her. Just get through the day, she told herself, one day at a time. As she neared what should be her classroom, a gentle voice broke through her concentration. "Are you looking for room 103? A woman asked. "I'm Mrs. Rivera, the English teacher." Lily nodded, relief washing over her. "Yes, I'm Lily Chen. It's my first day." "Welcome to Westlake, Lily. Let me show you to your desk." Mrs. Rivera's footsteps were soft, and she described the layout of the room as they walked. "There are 5 rows of desks. I've saved you a spot in the second row, third seat from the front. The desk has a small bump of blue putty on the top right corner so you can identify it easily." Lily appreciated these small considerations. Not all teachers thought of such things. The class passed quickly, with Mrs. Rivera introducing her to the other students without making a big deal about her blindness. But as the day wore on, the initial kindness gave way to the familiar feeling of being an outsider. In the hallway between classes, she overheard whispers. "How does she even read anything? I bet the teachers just give her A's so they don't have to deal with her. Can you imagine being like that?" "I'd rather be dead," Lily pretended not to hear, keeping her face neutral as she had learned to do years ago. Showing that the words hurt only made things worse. By lunchtime, her mental map of the school had expanded, but she still felt lost in the social landscape. The cafeteria was a nightmare of echoing voices and unpredictable movement. She found an empty table in what she hoped was a corner and unwrapped the sandwich her mom had packed. "Is anyone sitting here?" a voice asked after a few minutes of Lily eating alone. "No, go ahead," she replied, assuming the person wanted to take the chair for another table. "Cool. I'm Hannah." The girl sat down across from Lily. "You're in my biology class. Mr. Parker put us in the same lab group." "Oh," Lily said, surprised that someone had sought her out. "I'm Lily." "I know," Hannah laughed, "but it wasn't unkind. Mr. Parker only introduced you about 50 times. I think he was trying too hard to be inclusive or whatever." Lily smiled despite herself. "Yeah, that was pretty awkward. So how long have you been blind?" Hannah asked with the directness that only teenagers could get away with. "Since birth," Lily answered, used to the question. "I've never seen anything, so I don't really miss it." "That's wild," Hannah said. "So how do you do stuff?" Before Lily could answer, the sound of a basketball bouncing approached their table, followed by several sets of footsteps and the scraping of chairs. "Hey, new girl," a boy's voice called out. "I'm Tyler, captain of the basketball team." The way he said it made it clear this was supposed to impress her. "Hi," Lily replied cautiously. "We're trying to figure something out," another voice chimed in, a girl this time, with the kind of confidence that usually belonged to people who were used to getting what they wanted. "I'm Brooke. How do you know if your clothes match? Does your mom still dress you?" Lily felt her cheeks grow warm. Next to her, Hannah shifted uncomfortably. "I manage just fine," Lily said evenly. "There are apps that can identify colors and I organize my clothes carefully." "Fascinating," Brooke said, her tone suggesting it was anything but. And how do you watch TikTok? Tyler and his friends laughed as if this were the funniest joke they'd ever heard. I don't, Lily said simply. But I listen to plenty of podcasts and audiobooks. Sounds boring, Tyler remarked. No offense. None taken, Lily lied, keeping her voice steady. The bell rang, signaling the end of lunch, and Lily had never been so grateful for a bell in her life. What class do you have next? Hannah asked as the others left. Free period, Lily replied. I was hoping to find the music room if there is one. There is. I can show you. It's usually empty during fifth period. Hannah guided her through the halls, describing the route so Lily could find it again on her own. When they reached the music room, Lily felt the space open up around her. The acoustics changed, sound bouncing differently off the walls. There's a grand piano in the corner, Hannah said. Do you play? Lily nodded. Since I was 4. It's kind of my thing. That's so cool. I'm tone deaf myself. Anyway, I've got to get to Spanish class. Will you be okay here? Perfect, thanks for your help. After Hannah left, Lily made her way carefully to the piano, her cane finding the bench. She sat down and ran her fingers lightly over the keys without pressing them, feeling the familiar pattern of black and white. This was her territory. Here she didn't need to count steps or worry about bumping into things. Here she could see with her hands and her ears. She began to play softly, a Chopin prelude she had memorized years ago. The notes floated around her, creating a cocoon of sound that shut out the rest of the school. For the first time that day, the tension in her shoulders eased. She didn't notice when the door opened slightly, or when several students paused in the hallway to listen. Among them were Tyler and Brooke, whose mocking smiles faltered as the music washed over them. Lily continued playing, losing herself in the familiar movements, her fingers finding each note with precision born of years of practice. In this moment, she wasn't the blind new girl. She was just a musician, speaking a language that needed no translation. When the piece ended, she sat in silence for a moment, savoring the feeling of belonging that only music gave her. The soft click of the door closing jolted her back to reality, but she didn't know that she'd had an audience. As the weeks passed, Lily fell into a routine. She navigated the school with increasing confidence, her mental map growing more detailed each day. Hannah became something close to a friend, sitting with her at lunch and warning her when Tyler and his group approached. And every day during her free period, Lily found her way to the music room and played the piano. It became her sanctuary, the one place where being blind didn't matter. Sometimes she played classical pieces. Other times she worked on her own compositions, fingers exploring melodies that existed only in her head until she gave them life through the keys. What she didn't know was that her private concerts had become something of a secret attraction. Students and even a few teachers would quietly open the door to listen for a few minutes before moving on. Ms. Thompson, the music teacher, had heard her too, and watched with growing amazement at the talent of this student who had never once enrolled in a music class. One Thursday afternoon, as Lily played a particularly challenging Beethoven sonata, the door opened as usual. But this time, instead of closing again, footsteps approached the piano. That was beautiful, Ms. Thompson said when Lily finished. I've been listening to you play for weeks now. Why haven't you joined the music program? Lily's hands froze above the keys. I didn't think I'd fit in. Nonsense, Ms. Thompson replied. With talent like yours, you absolutely belong here. She paused. In fact, the annual talent show is coming up next month. Have you ever performed in front of an audience? Lily shook her head, her heart racing at the very thought. No, I just play for myself. Well, Ms. Thompson said thoughtfully, perhaps it's time for that to change. Would you consider performing in the show? I think people need to hear you play. The idea terrified Lily. Playing alone was one thing, but performing in front of the entire school, including Tyler and Brooke and their friends who had made it clear what they thought of her, was something else entirely. But there was also a small, persistent voice in the back of her mind that whispered, show them. Show them what you can do. Can I think about it? She asked finally. Of course, Ms. Thompson replied, but don't think too long. Sometimes the things that scare us most are exactly what we need to do. As Lily gathered her things to head to her next class, she couldn't help wondering what would happen if she said yes. If she sat at that piano on stage and played her heart out. If just for a few minutes she could make everyone see past her blindness to who she really was. The thought was both terrifying and exhilarating. For 3 days after Miss Thompson's suggestion, Lily couldn't stop thinking about the talent show. The idea followed her through classes, sat with her at lunch, and kept her awake at night. Even at the piano, where she usually found peace, the thought of performing on stage made her fingers stumble over familiar notes. "You're distracted today," her mom said that evening as they washed dishes together after dinner. Lily's hands moved mechanically over the plates, her mind elsewhere. "Ms. Thompson asked me to play in the talent show," she finally admitted, setting a clean plate on the drying rack. Her mom's hands paused in the soapy water. "That's wonderful. What will you play?" "I didn't say I would do it," Lily protested. "It's in front of the whole school." Her mom dried her hands and gently turned Lily to face her. "Honey, I've watched you play since you were tiny. Music isn't just something you do, it's part of who you are. But it's different at home. At school, people already think I'm a freak. If I mess up, they'll never let me forget it. And if you don't try, you'll never know what might have happened," her mom said softly. "Remember what Dad used to tell you before he passed away?" Lily smiled faintly. "The only failure is not trying." "Exactly." Her mom squeezed her shoulders. "Sleep on it. But I think you already know what you want to do." The next day, during her free period, Lily sat at the piano without playing. Her fingers rested lightly on the keys as she pictured the school auditorium filled with students. Would they laugh when she was led onto the stage? Would they whisper about the blind girl who thought she could perform? The door opened and Lily recognized Ms. Thompson's light footsteps. "Still thinking about my offer?" the teacher asked, sitting beside her on the bench. Lily nodded. "I'm scared," she admitted. "That's normal. Everyone gets scared before performing." "It's not just stage fright," Lily explained. "At my old school, there was a music assembly. I wasn't playing, just sitting in the audience. Some kids thought it would be funny to move my cane during the performance. When it was over and everyone stood up to leave, I couldn't find it. I had to stay in my seat until the room emptied, and then crawl around on my hands and knees until a janitor found me." The memory still burned with humiliation. Ms. Thompson was silent for a moment. "I'm sorry that happened to you," she finally said. "People can be cruel when they don't understand something or someone." She shifted on the bench. "But Lily, when you play, you speak a language everyone understands. I've seen it. Students stop in the hallway to listen to you. They don't see a blind girl then, they see a musician." Lily's heart beat faster. "People listen to me play?" "Every day. They probably think I don't notice, but this is my classroom. I notice everything." Ms. Thompson chuckled. "Even Tyler Blake stops sometimes." "Tyler?" Lily couldn't keep the disbelief from her voice. Tyler had made it his mission to point out her blindness at every opportunity, asking loudly if she needed help finding the trash can, or commenting on how lucky she was that she couldn't see his ugly face. "Music reaches people in ways nothing else can," Ms. Thompson said. "But you don't have to decide right now. The sign-up deadline is Friday." After Ms. Thompson left, Lily placed her hands on the keys again and began to play, not a classical piece this time, but a song she had been composing for months. It was still rough in places, the middle section unfinished, but playing it helped her think. When the bell rang, she had made her decision. The next morning, Lily asked Hannah to walk with her to the main office where the talent show sign-up sheet was posted. "Are you sure about this?" Hannah asked as they navigated the crowded hallway. "I mean, you're amazing at piano, but the talent show can be brutal. Last year, a guy tried to juggle bowling pins and dropped one on his foot. They still call him Limpy Larry." "Thanks for the vote of confidence," Lily said dryly. "I didn't mean—" Hannah began. "I know what you meant," Lily assured her. "But I need to do this." At the office, Hannah described the sign-up sheet. "There are already 15 names. Do you want to be number 16? "Yes," Lily said firmly. As Hannah helped her sign her name, a familiar voice spoke behind them. "Well, look who's entering the talent show." Brooke's voice dripped with fake sweetness. "What's your talent going to be, Lily? Reading Braille out loud?" "I'm playing piano," Lily replied, keeping her voice steady. "Of course you are," Brooke laughed. "This I have to see. Make sure you don't fall off the stage." Lily heard Brooke walk away, her heels clicking sharply on the floor. "Ignore her," Hannah said. "She's just jealous because the only talent she has is being mean." But as the days passed and news spread about her participation in the show, the comments multiplied. Some were merely curious, "What song are you playing?" Or "How do you read music if you can't see?" But others were deliberately cruel. "Do you think she'll play the right keys? Maybe they'll have to put up guardrails so she doesn't wander off stage. I bet the teachers will clap even if she's terrible." Each remark stung, but Lily refused to back down. Every day after school, she stayed in the music room to practice. Ms. Thompson had given her a key so she could use the piano even when the teacher wasn't there. Lily chose to play Debussy's Clair de Lune, a piece she had performed countless times at home but never for an audience. Its gentle beginning and powerful crescendo felt like her own journey, quiet at first but building to something stronger. 2 weeks before the show, Ms. Thompson arranged for Lily to practice on the auditorium's grand piano. The space was much larger than the music room and the acoustics were different. Lily needed to adjust her playing to fill the bigger space. "The stage is 4 steps up," Ms. Thompson explained, guiding her carefully. "There's a railing on both sides. The piano is positioned 10 steps from the top of the stairs, slightly to the right." Lily counted each step, memorizing the path she would take on performance night. When she reached the piano, she ran her hands over it, acquainting herself with its slightly different key action and pedal resistance. "Can I practice the walk a few more times?" she asked. "I want to be sure I won't trip." "Of course," Ms. Thompson agreed. "Practice as much as you need." What neither of them knew was that Tyler and 2 of his friends had slipped into the back of the auditorium to watch. They had planned to make fun of Lily, but as she played through her piece, they found themselves listening instead. "She's actually good," one of them whispered. Tyler didn't respond. He was watching Lily's hands move across the keys with a precision that seemed impossible for someone who couldn't see. There was something about the way she played, as if the music came from somewhere deep inside her, that made it hard to look away. When she finished and Ms. Thompson applauded, the boys slipped out unnoticed. The day before the talent show, rumors circulated that some students were planning to boo during Lily's performance. Hannah heard about it in math class and immediately found Lily at lunch to warn her. "You don't have to go through with this," Hannah insisted. "It's not worth it if they're going to be jerks." Lily pushed her food around her plate, her appetite gone. "If I back out now, they win. They'll know they got to me." "Who cares what they think?" Hannah protested. "They're just a bunch of insecure bullies." "I care," Lily said quietly. "Not about their opinion, but about not letting fear control me. If I walk away now, I'll always wonder what would have happened if I'd been brave enough to try." That night, Lily could barely sleep. She kept imagining all the things that could go wrong. Forgetting the piece, hitting wrong notes, tripping on the stairs, being laughed off the stage. At 2 a.m., she got out of bed and sat at her desk, opening her laptop. She navigated to her music folder and found a recording of herself playing Clair de Lune from a few days ago. She put on her headphones and listened critically, noting the places where she could improve the phrasing or dynamics. By the time her alarm went off at 7, she had fallen asleep at her desk. Her neck was stiff, and her stomach churned with nerves, but underneath the anxiety was a surprising sense of calm. Whatever happened tonight, she would face it head on. The school day passed in a blur. Teachers seemed to sense her distraction and didn't call on her in class. At lunch, Hannah chatted about unimportant things, clearly trying to keep Lily's mind off the evening ahead. When the final bell rang, Lily didn't go home. Ms. Thompson had suggested she stay and get comfortable with the space before the audience arrived. She practiced walking to the piano one more time, then sat quietly backstage, listening to the sounds of the auditorium being prepared, chairs being set up, microphones tested, the curtain pulley squeaking as someone checked its operation. "How are you feeling?" Ms. Thompson asked, bringing her a bottle of water. "Like I might throw up," Lily admitted, taking a small sip. "That's normal. I still get nervous before our faculty music performances, and I've been playing for 30 years. Ms. Thompson sat beside her. "Just remember, when you're out there, play for yourself. Not for the audience, not for the judges, for you." As students and parents began to arrive, filling the auditorium with chatter and movement, Lily's heart raced faster. She was scheduled to perform 10th out of 16 acts. The wait seemed endless as she listened to the other performances. A rock band, several singers, a comedy routine that had the audience roaring with laughter. Finally, it was her turn. Ms. Thompson touched her arm. "Ready?" Lily nodded, not trusting herself to speak. She took her cane and stood, her legs trembling slightly beneath her. As Ms. Thompson guided her to the stage entrance, Lily heard the principal announcing her name. There was polite applause, but also whispers and a few snickers. 10 steps to the stairs. 4 steps up, railing on the right, then 10 steps to the piano, she reminded herself, gripping her cane tightly. The moment had arrived. Everything that happened next would change how people saw her, or perhaps more importantly, how she saw herself. Lily took a deep breath as Ms. Thompson gave her arm a gentle squeeze. "You've got this," the teacher whispered. The stage lights were meaningless to Lily, but she could feel their warmth on her skin as she stepped out. The audience noise dimmed to curious murmurs, then hushed whispers. Her cane tapped against the wooden floor, a sound that seemed impossibly loud in the quiet auditorium. 10 steps to the stairs, she reminded herself, counting silently. She reached the stairs and found the railing. As she carefully took the first step up, someone in the audience snickered. The sound rippled through the crowd, growing louder. Another voice joined in, then another. Lily froze, her hand tightening on the railing. "Look." She's scared. A voice that sounded like Brooks called out from somewhere in the middle rows. "Maybe she forgot where she is," someone else added, triggering more laughter. Heat rushed to Lily's face. This was exactly what she had feared, becoming a spectacle, a joke. For a moment, she considered turning around and fleeing the stage, but then she remembered her father's words. The only failure is not trying. She lifted her chin and continued up the stairs, ignoring the scattered laughter. 4 steps up, then 10 more to the piano. She counted each one in her head, blocking out everything else. When she reached the piano, she felt for the bench and sat down, placing her cane on the floor beside her. She adjusted her position, then lifted her hands to the keys. "This should be good," Tyler's voice carried from the third row, followed by more snickering. Principal Wong's voice came over the microphone. "That's enough. Let's show respect for all our performers." The audience quieted, but Lily could still feel their attention on her, skeptical, judgmental, waiting for her to fail. Her hands hovered above the keys, suddenly unsure. The piece she had practiced hundreds of times seemed to evaporate from her memory. She closed her eyes, an automatic gesture that made no difference to her vision, but helped her turn inward. In the darkness that was her constant companion, she pictured her father sitting beside her at their old upright piano at home, his gentle hands guiding hers over the keys. "Music isn't in your eyes, lily pad," he used to say. "It's in your heart and your hands. Let them remember for you." Lily took another deep breath and placed her fingers on the keys. The cool ivory beneath her fingertips felt like coming home. She began to play the opening notes of Clair de Lune, softly at first, as if sharing a secret. The delicate beginning notes floated into the auditorium. She played the familiar melody, her fingers finding each key with the precision born of countless hours of practice. The music flowed through her, washing away her nervousness. As she reached the first crescendo, her confidence grew. Her body swayed slightly with the rhythm, her face relaxing into an expression of pure concentration. She was no longer on a stage being judged. She was simply in the music, where she had always belonged. In the audience, the laughter had died away completely. Every face was turned toward the stage, watching Lily's hands dance across the keys. Even Tyler, who had come prepared with jokes to whisper to his friends, sat motionless, his phone forgotten in his lap. Brooke, who had planned to record the performance to make fun of later, lowered her phone slowly, her expression shifting from mockery to surprise and then, reluctantly, to admiration. Hannah, sitting near the back, wiped away a tear. She had known Lily was good, but this was something else entirely. This wasn't just playing notes. This was making them come alive. Miss Thompson stood at the side of the stage, her arms crossed and a small, satisfied smile on her face. She had known all along what these students were now discovering, that true talent transcends all barriers. As Lily played the middle section of the piece, where the music builds in intensity, her fingers moved faster, striking the keys with greater force. The sound filled the auditorium, reaching into every corner, touching everyone present. Some closed their eyes to listen more closely. Others leaned forward in their seats. A strange thing was happening in that ordinary high school auditorium. The lines that had divided the students, popular from unpopular, athletic from academic, sighted from blind, were temporarily erased by the music flowing from Lily's hands. For those few minutes, they weren't separate individuals but a single audience, connected by their shared experience of something beautiful. Each person in the room felt the music differently, some remembering childhood piano lessons, others thinking of scenes from movies, many simply letting the melody carry them away from their everyday concerns. But all were equally moved by it. When Lily reached the final section of the piece, returning to the gentle theme from the beginning, the auditorium was completely silent except for the notes from the piano. No shuffling feet, no whispers, no phone notifications, just music filling the space. Her fingers pressed the final chords, letting them ring out softly until they faded into silence. For 3 full seconds, no one moved or spoke. Lily sat still at the piano, her hands resting lightly on the keys, caught in that perfect moment between performance and reality. Then the applause began. It started with a single person, Ms. Thompson, but was quickly joined by others, until the entire auditorium erupted in cheers and clapping. Someone in the back whistled loudly. Someone else shouted, "Bravo!" The sound washed over Lily like a wave. She hadn't expected this. Perhaps polite applause at best, awkward silence at worst. But this reaction was overwhelming. Her hands trembled slightly as she reached for her cane, standing to bow as Ms. Thompson had taught her. The applause grew even louder. Principal Wong had to wait nearly a minute before he could announce the next act. As Ms. Thompson guided Lily off the stage, students reached out from the front row to touch her arm or shoulder, offering congratulations. That was amazing. How did you learn to play like that? I had no idea you were so talented. Lily smiled, trying to respond to each voice, overwhelmed by the sudden shift in how people were treating her. As she returned to her seat, she felt someone touch her elbow. "Hey." It was Tyler's voice, but different somehow. Less cocky, more uncertain. "That was really good. Like seriously good. Thank you," Lily replied, surprised. He paused. "I just wanted to say that. And sorry about before." Before she could respond, he moved away quickly. Lily sat down next to Hannah, who immediately grabbed her hand and squeezed it. "You were incredible," Hannah whispered excitedly. "Everyone's talking about you." Even Brooke looked impressed, and I didn't think her face could make that expression. Lily laughed softly, still processing what had happened. "I can't believe it went okay. It was perfect. You're definitely winning first place." The remaining acts performed, but Lily barely heard them. Her mind was replaying her own performance, remembering how the music had flowed through her, how for those few minutes nothing else had mattered. Not her blindness, not the bullies, not her fears. When all the acts had finished, the judges conferred while the audience chatted excitedly. Lily could hear her name mentioned repeatedly from different parts of the auditorium. People who had never spoken to her before were discussing her performance, analyzing her technique, wondering how long she had been playing. Principal Wong returned to the microphone. "Before we announce the winners, I want to thank all our talented students for sharing their gifts with us tonight. Every performer showed courage by taking this stage." He paused for a brief round of applause before continuing. "Now our honorable mentions go to..." He named 2 acts, a freshman girl who had sung a pop song and the rock band who had opened the show. Each received a small trophy and more applause. Third place goes to Michael Chen for his magic act. More applause as Michael collected his prize. Second place goes to the dance team for their original choreography. 6 girls rushed to the stage, jumping and hugging each other as they accepted their trophy. And first place in this year's talent show goes to... The auditorium grew quiet. Beside her, Hannah gripped Lily's hand so tightly it almost hurt. Lily Chen for her piano performance of Claire de Lune. The audience erupted again, even louder than before. Hannah squealed and pulled Lily into a hug. "You won! You won!" Ms. Thompson appeared at her side. "Congratulations, Lily. Would you like me to walk you to the stage?" Lily nodded, still in shock. As they made their way to the stage, the applause continued. When she accepted the trophy, a small figure of a star on a wooden base, tears filled her eyes. Principal Wong handed her the microphone. "Would you like to say a few words?" Lily hadn't prepared anything. She hadn't even considered the possibility of winning. She took a deep breath and spoke from her heart. "Thank you all so much. Music has always been my way of seeing the world. Tonight I feel like maybe you saw a little bit of my world too. And that means more to me than this trophy." Her simple words touched the audience, bringing a new round of applause as she was led back to her seat. After the show, people gathered around her. Parents introduced themselves and complimented her playing. Students who had ignored her for weeks suddenly wanted to talk to her. Teachers she hadn't even met yet came to congratulate her. In the midst of all the attention, Lily felt a tap on her shoulder. It was Ms. Thompson. "I hate to interrupt your moment of glory," the teacher said with a smile in her voice. "But there's someone who'd like to meet you. She's a friend of mine who teaches piano at the community music school, and she's very impressed by your playing." As Ms. Thompson led her away from the crowd to meet this new person, Lily realized that something fundamental had changed tonight. She had entered the auditorium as the blind girl, defined by what she couldn't do. She was leaving as Lily the pianist, defined by what she could. The trophy in her hands was nice, but that transformation was the real victory. The Monday after the talent show, Lily walked into school with her trophy carefully packed in her backpack. Her mom had insisted she bring it, saying, "You earned it, be proud of it." Lily had agreed, though part of her worried that carrying the trophy might seem like showing off. As she navigated the now familiar hallway to her locker, she noticed something different. The usual morning chatter continued around her, but there were new voices mixed in, voices speaking directly to her. "Morning, Lily. Great job on Friday. That was some performance." She smiled and thanked each person, trying to match voices to names. Some she recognized from classes. Others were completely unfamiliar. It seemed that overnight, she had gone from being virtually invisible to being known by everyone. At her locker, she felt Hannah's familiar presence before her friend even spoke. "The school celebrity arrives," Hannah teased, bumping Lily's shoulder gently. "Did you bring the trophy?" "It's in my backpack," Lily admitted. "Mom made me." "Good. You should show it off." "I still can't believe how amazing you were." Hannah helped her organize her books for the morning classes. "Oh, and by the way, did you check your phone this weekend? The video of your performance has like 2,000 views already." Lily froze. "What video?" "Someone recorded your performance and posted it online. I thought you knew." Hannah's voice shifted from excited to concerned. "Is that okay? I can ask them to take it down if you want." Lily considered this. The idea of thousands of strangers watching her play was both terrifying and strangely thrilling. "No, it's fine. I just had no idea." "Well, you're officially internet famous at Westlake High," Hannah declared. "Even Mr. Parker mentioned your performance in biology this morning before you got here." The first bell rang and they headed to English class. As they entered the room, the usual pre-class chatter died down, and Lily felt dozens of eyes turned toward her. She tightened her grip on her cane, suddenly self-conscious. "Take your seats, everyone," Mrs. Rivera called out, restoring normalcy. "Lily, a moment, please." Lily approached the teacher's desk, wondering if something was wrong. "I just wanted to say how impressed I was by your performance Friday night," Mrs. Rivera said warmly. "I've been teaching here for 15 years, and that was one of the most moving things I've seen on that stage." "Thank you," Lily replied, warmth spreading through her chest at the unexpected praise. "I also wanted to let you know that I've modified some of our reading assignments to be available in Braille. The school ordered them over the weekend. They should be here by Wednesday." Lily was stunned. She had been using audiobooks for all her reading assignments, which worked well enough, but wasn't her preferred method for studying literature. Having Braille copies would make a huge difference, allowing her to read at her own pace and easily reference specific passages. "That's amazing. Thank you so much." "You're welcome. We should have done it sooner, honestly." Mrs. Rivera sounded slightly embarrassed. "Sometimes we need a reminder of what our students are capable of when given the right tools." Throughout the day, Lily noticed other small changes. Teachers who had previously seemed uncomfortable calling on her now included her regularly in class discussions. Students who had avoided sitting near her in the cafeteria now asked if they could join her table. Even the way people guided her had changed. Instead of grabbing her arm without asking, they now politely offered assistance when needed. But the biggest surprise came during lunch period when she heard Tyler's voice beside her. "Hey, can I sit here?" he asked, his usual confidence notably subdued. Lily hesitated, then nodded. She heard the chair scrape as he sat down. "So I've been thinking," Tyler began awkwardly. "The way I acted before, it wasn't cool. I was a jerk." Lily took a bite of her sandwich to give herself time to process this unexpected apology. Yeah, you were, she finally agreed. Tyler laughed, a genuine laugh, not the mocking one she was used to hearing. Fair enough. I deserved that. He paused. How did you learn to play like that? It was seriously impressive. I started when I was 4, Lily explained, still cautious but willing to engage. My dad was a pianist. Not professionally, but he loved music. He taught me until he passed away when I was 10. After that, I had a teacher from the music school. That's cool. My dad wanted me to play basketball since I could walk. Sometimes I wonder if I'd have picked it myself if he hadn't pushed so hard. There was something in Tyler's voice she hadn't heard before, a vulnerability, that made him sound more like a real person than the two-dimensional bully she'd known. Do you enjoy it? Basketball, I mean. Yeah, I do. But sometimes the pressure gets to be too much, you know? Like that's all anyone sees when they look at me, the basketball guy. He laughed again, this time with a note of irony. I guess I know a little bit about being defined by just one thing. Lily was surprised by his insight. I never thought about it that way. Hey, listen, Tyler said, his voice dropping lower. Brooke and some of the others, they're still being weird about your performance, saying stuff like the judges only picked you because they felt sorry for you. Lily's stomach tightened. Oh, but I told them they're wrong, Tyler continued quickly. I said talent is talent whether you can see or not, and what you did up there took serious guts. Before Lily could respond, Hannah arrived at the table. Am I interrupting something? She asked, her tone protective. Nah, I was just leaving, Tyler said. See you around, Lily, and thanks for talking. As his footsteps moved away, Hannah sat down. What was that about? Was he bothering you? Actually, no, Lily said, still processing the conversation. I think he would... Apologizing. Tyler Blake? Apologizing? Hannah sounded skeptical. Are you sure he wasn't setting up for some new joke? He seemed sincere, Lily shrugged. People can surprise you, I guess. The afternoon brought another surprise when Ms. Thompson caught up with her after school. Do you have a minute? The music teacher asked. I'd like to introduce you to someone. Lily followed Ms. Thompson to the music room, where another person was waiting. Lily, this is Dr. Rossi from the Westlake Community Music School, Ms. Thompson explained. She saw your performance on Friday and wanted to meet you. Your playing was extraordinary, Dr. Rossi said, her voice warm with a slight accent Lily couldn't place. Such musicality and emotion. How long have you been playing? Since I was 4, Lily replied. About 12 years now. And who is your current teacher? I don't have one, Lily admitted. Not since we moved here. I've just been practicing on my own. Dr. Rossi made a small noise of surprise. And you play at that level without instruction? Even more impressive, she paused. Ms. Thompson tells me you compose as well? Lily felt her cheeks warm. Just small pieces. Nothing serious. I'd love to hear one sometime. Dr. Rossi's voice grew more businesslike. I'm here because our music school has a scholarship program for exceptional students. We provide advanced instruction, performance opportunities, and mentorship. Based on what I heard Friday night, I believe you would be a perfect candidate. Lily's heart began to race. Really? Absolutely. The scholarship covers weekly lessons, theory classes, and our summer intensive program. We've had several students go on to major conservatories, including Juilliard and Curtis. The possibilities opened before her like doors to rooms she hadn't known existed. Professional training, performance opportunities, maybe even a career in music someday. I don't know what to say, Lily stammered. Say you'll think about it, Dr. Rossi suggested. Talk it over with your mother. Here's my card with all the information. The spring auditions are in 2 weeks, but after seeing you perform, I can say with confidence that the scholarship committee would be very impressed by your application. After Dr. Rossi left, Lily sat at the piano, her fingers resting lightly on the keys as she absorbed what had just happened. Ms. Thompson sat beside her. This is a remarkable opportunity, the teacher said quietly. Dr. Rossi doesn't recruit students personally very often. Do you think I could do it? Lily asked, suddenly uncertain. The advanced program sounds intense. I know you can, Ms. Thompson replied without hesitation. You have a gift, Lily, and now you have a chance to develop it to its full potential. That evening, Lily told her mother about Dr. Rossi's offer. Her mom was thrilled, immediately calling the music school for more information. As they discussed the logistics, transportation to lessons, scheduling around school, practice requirements, Lily felt a growing sense that her life was changing in ways she hadn't imagined possible just a few days ago. Before bed, she checked her phone, using the screen reader to navigate to the video Hannah had mentioned. She couldn't see the visuals, of course, but she could hear the recording of her performance. The sound quality wasn't great. It had been recorded on someone's phone from the audience. But she could hear the audience's initial murmurs, the scattered laughter, and then the gradual silence as she began to play. And finally, the thunderous applause that still made her heart swell with pride. She scrolled through some of the comments, the screen reader voicing them aloud. This gave me chills. Who is this girl? She's amazing. The way everyone shut up when she started playing. As a pianist for 20 years, I'm blown away by her expressiveness. This is why we should never judge people by their limitations. That last comment made her pause. Was her blindness a limitation? In some ways, yes, she couldn't do certain things, needed help with others, and faced obstacles that sighted people didn't. But in other ways, perhaps it had shaped her relationship with music in ways that made her playing unique. She had never seen a sunset, but she could express the feeling of one through music. She had never seen faces, but she could hear the emotions in voices and translate them into sound. Her phone buzzed with a text. It was from a number she didn't recognize. Hey, it's Tyler. Hannah gave me your number. Some of us are starting a music club at school. Nothing fancy, just jamming after classes. Would be cool if you joined. No pressure. Lily smiled, shaking her head slightly at how quickly things were changing. She typed back, sounds fun. When's the first meeting? As she plugged in her phone to charge for the night, she reflected on the journey of the past few weeks. From being the outsider, defined solely by what she couldn't do, to being recognized for what she could do better than almost anyone else at Westlake High. The talent show trophy sat on her desk, a physical reminder of that turning point. But more important than the trophy were the doors that had opened, the scholarship opportunity, the music club, the new friendships, and the sense that people were finally seeing her for who she truly was. For the first time since moving to this town, Lily fell asleep without worrying about the next day at school. Instead, her mind filled with music, new compositions taking shape, melodies intertwining with the possibilities that now lay before her. 2 months after the talent show, spring had fully arrived at Westlake High. The hallways buzzed with talk of prom, final exams, and summer plans. For Lily, this spring felt entirely different from any she had experienced before. She now spent Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at the Westlake Community Music School, where Dr. Rossi had become not just her piano teacher but her mentor. The scholarship had been awarded without hesitation after her audition, a formality that turned into a standing ovation from the committee. Your technique is exceptional, Dr. Rossi had told her during their first lesson. But what sets you apart is how you interpret the music, the emotion you bring to each piece. We can refine your skills, but that connection to the heart of the music, that's something special. On Mondays and Wednesdays, Lily stayed after school for the newly formed music club. What had started as a casual suggestion from Tyler had grown into a group of 15 students who gathered in the music room to play together, share songs they'd written, and sometimes just talk about music. Tyler had surprised everyone by revealing that he played guitar, something he'd kept private because it didn't fit his basketball star image. My grandpa taught me when I was a kid, he'd explained. Country music mostly. Not exactly cool, you know? But in the music club, cool had a different definition. It was about authenticity and passion, not popularity or appearance. Lily found herself at the center of this new social circle, not because people felt sorry for her or because she had won a trophy, but because her love for music was genuine and her knowledge valuable. Even Brooke had eventually joined the club, admitting reluctantly that she sang in her church choir and had always wanted to try songwriting. The girl who had once mocked Lily now asked for her opinion on chord progressions and melodies. Today was special, though. It wasn't a regular music club day, but Ms. Thompson had asked Lily to come to the music room after school anyway. There's something I want to discuss with you, the teacher had said, her voice containing a hint of excitement she couldn't quite hide. As Lily made her way through the now familiar hallways, she reflected on how much had changed. Students greeted her by name. Teachers stopped to chat about her latest performance or lesson. The cane that had once seemed to announce her difference now felt like just another part of her, no more remarkable than someone else's glasses or braces. When she entered the music room, she immediately sensed that several people were present. She recognized Miss Thompson's light perfume and Dr. Rossi's distinctive footsteps, but there were others too, at least 3 more people. "Lily, thank you for coming," Miss Thompson said. "We have some visitors who wanted to meet you. This is Mr. Reynolds from the State School for the Arts, Mr. Patel from the Young Musicians Foundation, and Mrs. Chen from the National Piano Competition Committee." Lily's heart began to race. She knew these names, these organizations. The State School for the Arts was one of the most prestigious performing arts high schools in the country. The Young Musicians Foundation provided scholarships to gifted students. And the National Piano Competition was, well, exactly what it sounded like. The most important competition for young pianists nationwide. "It's a pleasure to meet you all," she managed to say, extending her hand in the direction of their voices as each person was introduced. "We've seen the video of your talent show performance," Mr. Reynolds said. "It's received quite a lot of attention in certain circles." Lily knew the video had spread beyond the school, but she hadn't realized just how far. "I'm glad you enjoyed it," she said simply. "Enjoyed is an understatement," Mrs. Chen replied. "Your interpretation of Debussy was remarkable, especially for someone your age. Dr. Rossi has been telling us about your progress since then, and we're quite interested in your future." Development. What followed was a conversation that seemed surreal to Lily. Mr. Reynolds explained that the State School for the Arts was interested in offering her a full scholarship for her senior year, with specialized instruction in piano performance and composition. Mr. Patel discussed a summer intensive program that would connect her with world-class pianists and other young musicians. And Mrs. Chen invited her to apply for the National Piano Competition's youth division. "The deadline for regular applications has passed," Mrs. Chen explained, "but the committee has the authority to issue special invitations in exceptional circumstances. We believe you qualify." When the visitors had left, promising to send formal documentation of their offers, Lily sat at the piano bench in stunned silence. Ms. Thompson and Dr. Rossi remained, giving her a moment to process. "I know it's overwhelming," Dr. Rossi said gently, "but you deserve these opportunities, Lily. Your talent is extraordinary." "I never thought," Lily began, then stopped, not sure how to express the tangle of emotions inside her. Joy, excitement, disbelief, and also a touch of fear. This was so much bigger than a high school talent show or even a local music school scholarship. These opportunities could shape her entire future. "You don't have to decide anything today," Ms. Thompson assured her. "Take time to discuss it with your mother." That evening, Lily's mom cried when Lily told her about the meetings. "Your father would be so proud," she said, hugging Lily tightly. "He always knew you were meant for something special." The mention of her father brought tears to Lily's eyes too. "I wish he could have been there to see it all." "He is seeing it in his own way," her mom said softly. "And he's smiling down on his little pianist." The following weeks flew by in a whirlwind of preparation. Lily chose to enter the National Piano Competition, which would take place in just over a month. Dr. Rossi adjusted their lessons to focus on her competition pieces, a Bach prelude and fugue, a Chopin nocturne, and a contemporary piece that showcased her range and technical ability. Word spread through Westlake High about Lily's upcoming competition. To her surprise, her classmates rallied around her, offering support and encouragement. The music club even organized practice sessions where Lily could perform her competition pieces and receive feedback. "It helps to play with people watching," Tyler pointed out during one such session. "Gets you used to the pressure." Hannah, who had been Lily's steadfast friend throughout everything, took on the role of unofficial manager, keeping track of her practice schedule and making sure she didn't overwork herself. "You need breaks too," Hannah insisted when Lily wanted to spend yet another lunch period practicing. "Your brain needs rest to absorb everything." As the competition drew nearer, Lily's nervousness grew. This was far bigger than anything she had faced before. Professional judges, other talented young pianists from across the country, a real concert hall with perfect acoustics that would reveal even the smallest mistake. The night before she was scheduled to leave for the competition, Lily couldn't sleep. She sat at her desk, running through the pieces in her mind, her fingers moving silently as if playing an invisible keyboard. Her phone buzzed with an incoming text. It was from Hannah. "You awake? Check your email." Curious, Lily opened her email app. There was a new message from Hannah with a video attachment and the subject line, "Watch this," or rather, "Listen." When she played the video, she heard Hannah's voice first. "So, we wanted to do something to show Lily how much we believe in her before the big competition. Everyone at Westlake High is so proud of her, and we know she's going to be amazing. Here's what we did." What followed was a compilation of voice messages from dozens of students and teachers. Some she recognized immediately: Ms. Thompson, Principal Wong, Tyler, Brooke, while others took her a moment to place. Each person offered words of encouragement and support. "You've got this, Lily. Show them what Westlake is made of. Remember when you silenced the whole auditorium? You'll do it again. No matter what happens, you've already won by getting this far." The final message was from her mother. "Lily, my brave, talented girl, whatever happens at this competition doesn't change who you are or what you've accomplished. Play with your heart, just like your father taught you. We all love you so much." By the time the video ended, tears were streaming down Lily's face. She texted Hannah back, "Thank you. I needed that more than you know." The next morning, Lily and her mother flew to the competition city. Dr. Rossi met them there, having arranged to be present for her students' national debut. The competition venue was a historic concert hall with perfect acoustics and a reputation for launching musical careers. During the preliminary round, Lily played her Bach piece. Her hands moved confidently over the keys, finding each note with precision. The familiar patterns of the prelude and fugue flowed through her fingers as naturally as breathing. When she finished, the applause told her she had done well. She advanced to the semi-final round where she played the Chopin Nocturne, the same piece that had silenced the Bullies at the talent show months ago. This time, she played it with even more emotion and technical mastery, thanks to Dr. Rossi's guidance. Again, she advanced. The final round arrived on Sunday afternoon. Only 5 young pianists remained in the youth division, and Lily was the only one with a visual impairment. As she waited backstage for her turn, she heard the other finalists playing, all talented, all deserving to be there. When her name was called, her mother squeezed her hand. "Remember what the video said. You've already won by being here." Lily nodded, took her cane, and walked onto the stage. An usher guided her to the piano, a magnificent concert grand that felt different from any she had played before. She took a moment to adjust the bench, place her hands on the keys, and center herself. In that moment of silence before she began to play, Lily thought of everything that had led her to this stage. The talent show where people had laughed until her music froze the room. The years of practice before that, playing alone in her room. Her father's patient teaching. The bullies who had become supporters. The teacher who had believed in her potential. Then she began to play her contemporary piece, a composition that moved from delicate, questioning passages to thundering, confident declarations and back again. Her fingers danced across the keys, drawing sounds from the instrument that seemed to tell her own story. Uncertainty giving way to assurance, isolation transformed into connection, difference becoming strength. When the final note faded, the concert hall erupted in applause. She stood and bowed in the direction of the audience, a smile spreading across her face regardless of the outcome. She had played her best, and that was what mattered. Later that evening, during the awards ceremony, Lily sat between her mother and Dr. Rossi, holding their hands tightly as the announcements were made. When her name was called for second place, she gasped in surprise and joy. As she accepted her award, the audience applauded warmly, and she heard a few familiar voices cheering loudly from the back of the hall. After the ceremony, she discovered that Tyler, Hannah, and several other members of the music club had pooled their money to buy bus tickets to attend the final round. Ms. Thompson had driven them all in the school's minibus. "We wouldn't have missed it," Hannah said, hugging her tightly. "You were incredible up there." "Second place in the whole country," Tyler added. "That's seriously impressive." As they celebrated together, Lily reflected on the journey that had brought her here. From being defined by what she couldn't see, to being celebrated for what everyone could hear. From being the target of jokes to being the source of pride for her entire school. The trophy in her hands was just a symbol. The real victory was in the friendships she had formed, the confidence she had gained, and the future that now stretched before her, bright with possibilities that she had never dared to imagine before that day when the bullies laughed, and then her hands froze the room.